I have to disagree with you on this academia part. I gotta step in, and
Yeah,
you're lucky.
please.
You're a lucky guy. I feel like fuck. Somebody got lucky, got to academia, and boom, it turned out to be a good and really reasonable, solid place to work in. Whereas my friend professor, who also likes Arduino, by the way, got super frustrated and eventually kicked out of academia, and now he's like seeing all of the drawbacks, all this like dark muddy side of it. So I
Mm.
just want to ask you this question about curiosity. Growing up in New York City, why did you decide to go to pursue this career as an architect in the first place? Like you've been rumbling around and being like, "Oh, I don't fucking like this building. We gotta correct it. It's fucking demolish
Yeah.
it or something."
Uh, that's a difficult question to answer. I mean, there are definitely elements of wanting to do good, but I think even before finding that, there's just, I mean, going back into adolescence, right? Like, how do you
Yeah, I'm gonna
like
give
just
you. Yeah. Go ahead.
sorry, like, but just like knowing what you you want to
Want to
do in the
do
first place, right?
exactly.
A lot of things as an adolescent, at least for me, that just seemed really boring. There
Mm.
are other things that were fun. Um, there were intrinsic draws. I don't know if that's a fair depiction. I don't. I honestly, it's difficult
I'm gonna
to
I, I'm
answer.
gonna I'm gonna help you, man. It's very
All
easy.
right.
At least
Yeah.
now you're gonna hear my take on China, how I got here, and how I got to the point where I decided that actually this major is not that appealing, and
Yeah,
moreover,
and I'd
I
love to hear
decided,
more about your experience in academia too.
yeah, it's fucking crap, but it's another story. But and then
I mean,
during this process of recognizing and engaging in academia, I decided that it's just not my plate, And I was like, "Yo, Tarek, do you know anything that could probably fit myself in terms of like profession?" And Tarek goes like, "Oh, what do you like to do the most?" I was like, "Yo, I like talking. I like talking to people. I like to get to know them better, get their stories, And boom. And the I would say, like, to make this long story short, that it was my inaccurate, or rather, I don't know, yeah, decision in which I was like, I completely did not know what to do with my life in March this year, 2020, And it's been like the third year of school. So, like, yeah, from the beginning, my mom actually sent me to China. She was like, Russia is not doing great economically. Yeah, China, all right, Far East, you're going. I was like, all right, what major? She goes like, computer science. Right now I feel like she made it, out of nowhere. She was in it. She got her computer broken or something, and then the computer scientist or something in our house. And I was like, all right, but no problem. So I went, I started studying Mandarin. Then I got rolled into this university, Zhejiang University in Hangzhou. It's like close to Shanghai, about like 50 miles away. And
Hmm.
after being here for like 3 years, 3.5, I realized that it's just not for me. you know, I don't really get that excitement. And I can see that you've been getting it a lot, as the matter of
Hmm.
how detailed and really fascinating all of the stories you're telling to us, audience. But from my side, I would be only complaining about it. Yo, dude, you weren't with us. Like when I was complaining, telling all shit about like Chinese education.
Oh
Yeah,
no, Tarek.
Keep going, keep going.
We
Chinese
fell.
education system. Did you spill over, man?
Yeah, just a little coffee. It's all right.
And I just,
Uh,
in this desperation, I decided to, all right, I have still 2 more years to go, and I gotta do
yeah.
something with my life. Otherwise, I'm not gonna be as professional as Mako. I thought to myself this question. So
Did you leading into this recent round in academia? I mean had you what were you doing before?
before I was
Because I
in
think
military school, a cadet school to be specific. You
okay.
know, so
So
yeah,
that might have a large part in it. My first round through academia, like my time at RISD, um, was less of a. It was less like genuine curiosity and more. I think at the time it was like this kind of odd ego-driven thing,
mm,
and it was probably one of the hardest times of my life. Um, was pretty depressed at certain points. Really didn't know how I was going to finish it or succeed. Felt like I was like kind of failing all the time. And for the first half of my time there, like 2.5 years, architecture is a 5-year program. For the first 2.5 years, I think I was actually pretty close to failing. Like it was really really hard. Um, and I think it wasn't until like I had that solid work experience being in like the professional realm
mm,
um, that the appreciation for academia really started to rise and just what it means to have time to learn. Um, because when, leading up to my time at RISD, all I knew was school. Um, so there might be an element of that, like just contrast, right?
yeah,
And I think
exactly.
yeah,
The Contrast podcast.
yeah, there it is.
But you're right. I like this comparison. The contrast between your story and mine. Your story being kind of you've been walking around it. Barking at the right bush. Whereas I'm in like completely didn't know what to expect from China, how to operate here. And luckily, I met Tarek along the way. And he was like, yo, you're not living the life correctly, my brother. Come on, I'm going to show you.